Buckle up. It's time for Kewanee Memory Lane, where we cruise down the 4 lanes of Kewanee history with a detour of fun uncovering the past, coming to you straight from the Kewanee Historical Society in the heart of downtown Kewanee. Here are your hosts, LeeAnn and LeeAnn.
Hi everyone, I am LeeAnn.
And I'm LeeAnn. Welcome to another episode of Kewanee Memory Lane. We have some show and tells to do for you today. LeeAnn, what did you bring today?
I brought this cigar box that was recently donated to us, and I had never heard of the Kewanee Crook, or Crooks before, though we've had many crooks, but of a different kind. But this is a cigar box, and it was really intriguing to me, old wooden box. John P. Gross was the maker, and so I just did a quick little dive. The Kewanee Crook has been on the market for 3 months now. This was back in 1905.
Okay.
So summer 1905 it started. It was the largest selling brand of cigars in Kewanee.
Okay.
There was no high salaried salesman or signboard advertising for the public to pay for. Kind of like the old version of Aldi.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
It was a box store.
It was, yeah. So the quality is in the cigar. If you are not a smoker of the Crook, try one and be convinced that it is the best smoke you've ever purchased for the price of 5 cents.
5 cents. I wonder if that was...
I wasn't able to figure out. I'll have to look, where he made these. But prior to that, he was making the Vedette in 1902. He was a cigar maker in Kewanee from 1902 to about 1915. 1916, he succumbed to whatever health-wise was going on with him, and he passed away.
Probably lung cancer.
Well, I think it was more emotional.
Oh.
I don't want to get into it. But
Okay.
Anyway, Kewanee Crook.
Okay.
And we have this on display at the museum if anybody would like to see it.
Yes, and it does sort of pertain to today's podcast.
Oh my God. Does it really?
Yes, it does.
Oh, wow.
Well, my show and tell is how this got started. We received this. We get letters and stuff from people all the time, and this was sent to us from somebody in Georgia in 2023, and it was an Articles of Agreement between Garnet Butterwick, who who Garnet is. Garnet, the Butterwicks had
The old hardware store.
The old hardware store that used to house the Historical Society. So it was Garnet Butterwick and Anna Berg of Kewanee, and they were deeding some lots to the Young Men's Christian Association.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this took place for $12,000, and it took place in, where is a date? The 4th of August. 1930. So right before, I think the new Y opened in 32, I think, or something right around 32, there. So this is part of the lots that they bought.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
That's cool.
Well, we didn't know why it said Garnet Butterwick and Anna Berg, and so we did some digging, and actually LeeAnn found all this, but Anna Berg was Anna Butterwick, so that was Garnet's sister.
Okay, because I had done some search just on properties, but not, Oh, that's a neat connection.
So, yeah, and so then we thought, Berg, why does that sound familiar? Well, it was because there was a bank failure in Kewanee, and it's the only time in Kewanee that a bank has failed, and that happened in 1927, and it had to do with, it didn't have to do with Anna Berg, but her husband was part of it. So that's what the topic is of today, is the failure of the Savings Bank of Kewanee. Right.
I'm kind of like, crooks. I'm kind of interested to hear about this now. So that's such a weird coincidence.
Yeah,
and I don't believe in coincidence, but it's just weird how that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, there were these 3 guys, John Fisher, Samuel Berg, and William Gould. So the story begins with a man named John Fisher. It's, it's a really nice picture of him. We'll put it up on the screen.
It is nice.
Yeah. John Fisher. He was born in Germany in 1858 and came to America in 1870. So,
12 years old.
and then he was in he came to Kewanee in 1878. So he was 58, 68, so 20 years old when he got here. He worked several jobs in Kewanee. He was a miner. He worked on a farm. He delivered groceries. He worked in the plant at the Haxton Steam Heater Company.
Ooh.
And as a salesman and also co-owner of Fisher and Mayhew Grocers.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you know about where that was here on Tremont Street.
Yeah.
In 1889, he entered the real estate loan business. And in 1890, he purchased stock in the First National Bank of Kewanee. So that was a bank that was already here in Kewanee. And within 5 years, he became vice president of that bank. Wow. He was also secretary, treasurer, and general manager of Kewanee Coal Mining and various other enterprises. He also organized the Fisher Lumber Company of Kewanee, Missouri. So
Fisher Lumber Company, Kewanee, Missouri.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a whole nother podcast. So he was one of the guys who settled Kewanee, Missouri. So meanwhile, there were these two other guys, Samuel Berg and William Gould. Samuel Berg was born in 1877 in Toulon. And in 1907, he married Anna Butterwick. Okay. And they married in Kewanee, and they settled here. William Gould was born in Cairo. That's right, it's Cairo, Illinois, in 1867, and he married Anna Berg, who was the sister of Samuel Berg. Okay? So Samuel's sister married a Gould, this Gould guy.
Okay. So there was an Anna Berg. Her maiden name was Ann, or she was married to, she's a sister to Butterwick.
Yes.
But then the other Anna married the Gould guy.
Yes.
Berg.
Yes. Oh, gosh, sorry, I didn't even realize that.
That makes it confusing. But I got it now.
And, okay, it gets worse. They resided in Anna, Illinois. But that's where William was living.
Wow.
William and Ann returned to Toulon to take care of her ailing mother. Okay. And they had actually taken her mother out west, for consumption, because better air quality. And while they were out there, Ann contracted something, and so came back, and she was sickly, and she ended up dying in 1897.
Oh, that's sad.
Right. So, so they were only married 4 years.
Oh my!
But Samuel Berg and William Gould became friends, obviously, because Anne was a sister and a wife. So, and at this time, both Gould and Berg were bankers in Stark County.
So they're brothers-in-law. Oh
yes, they're brothers-in-law.
It's crazy.
But the sister died. The sister died.
No, I'm following you.
Yeah. And we'll show pictures of the two. I cannot find any better pictures than what we're showing. So
okay, these are pretty good.
It's not bad
for what they look like.
Yeah. So Gould and Berg were bankers in Stark County under the firm name of Berg, Dewey, and Gould. And Dewey referred to Samuel's uncle. So he was in on this.
In Toulon.
In Stark County. I don't know if it was in Toulon.
Okay.
So, and after the death of Ann Gould, who was a Berg anyway, he married Harriet Bates. So anyway.
Okay. I wondered if he took another wife, but I didn't want to jump
And there were no kids with the first marriage.
Okay.
So he and Harriet ended up having kids. But So in 1905, this is interesting. 1905, Gould and Berg lived next to each other at 220 and 224 East Prospect. So
that's the part I'm only familiar with. Because I was doing research for somebody.
And that is the 224 is the corner of Elm?
That would be Elm.
Elm and Prospect on the west side, northwest side of Elm and Prospect.
Yep.
So I think that's interesting that they were brother-in-laws for 4 years. So then they got to be friends, and then they lived next to each other.
Yeah.
And they were in the banking business together. And back to John Fisher, in 1902, John Fisher organized the Savings Bank of Kewanee. So he left the First National Bank of Kewanee and opened his own bank. And so to open a bank then. It was basically based on the assets of who owned the bank. So John Fisher had a lot of land
So he had a lot of land, which equals a lot of money.
available, because in theory he could sell the land and get money.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So he could.
Can you imagine giving people loaning out your own money? What if they can't pay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I guess that's why that you pay interest, so that, to guarantee. But anyway, so John Fisher organized the Savings Bank of Kewanee, and the officers were John Fisher, W.E. Gould was cashier, William Gould was cashier, Harrison Minor was vice president. He doesn't really pertain to my story.
He related to Selden Minor, who I did some research on.
Oh, he might be.
But anyway.
His name never came up in any issues.
Selden, he was a Weathersfield
No,
pioneer.
I mean Harrison Minor.
Yeah.
And S.D. Berg, Samuel Berg, was assistant cashier. And there's a advertisement that 3 cents interest on deposits. That was in 1902. So.
Wow.
So they have a bank, 1902. Everything's fine, John Fisher's fine. They're loaning money. It's very stable. Everybody trusts John Fisher because he is, he was from town.
Yeah.
He had holdings in town. There was a Fisher building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, he was a guy around town, and everybody trusted him.
Yeah.
And during this time, they became known as the White Bank on the corner. So I don't know if anybody knows where that is. That building is still around. You saw it in our opening. The bank is on the northeast corner of Tremont and Second. So
when I was a kid, Lambin's jewelry store was in
Lambin's
the
was in
lower
there.
level. I got my ears pierced there.
Yeah, and there's been restaurants there, but that building is still here, and the building was there, but it became white when they remodeled it for the bank. So the Savings Bank of Kewanee.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Wow.
In 1921, they created a new bank, which was a state bank. So then there was more. Became the Kewanee State Savings Bank. State Savings Bank of Kewanee is what it was called. State Savings Bank of Kewanee. They took that from a private bank, which was where all their assets were and stuff. And Fisher, they started a firm called Fisher, Berg and Gould. Fisher, Gould, and Berg, whichever. And that firm was part of the bank, but it was the firm took over the farm loans. So if you think about it, like in banks today, there are financial people that do farm loans. So that's part of this bank too.
Wow.
So while the deposits of the old institution went to the new bank. The new bank is called, Kewanee State Savings Bank. See, I wrote that down. But all the loans and holdings for the farm loan company and the bank were covered by the holdings of the 3 officers, Berg, Gould, and mostly John Fisher. John Fisher,
I think he's the money man.
Yes, he had a lot of land. He had, there was land in Canada, there was land in Montana, there was land in Missouri, there was land in Iowa, and there was land in the city of Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he had a lot of assets to bring to this bank.
His name's got to be in somewhere in Chicago, too. But anyway.
You would think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Wow.
But then the unthinkable happened on August 11th, 1926, which is this. John Fisher dies at home last evening. He had been sick since February with thrombosis. So there was a blood clot, and, he got sicker and sicker.
So for a handful of years, 5 or so, they were, I don't know, in business together, and then he dies.
No, 1902.
Oh,
1902 is when they started the bank.
Okay.
And now it's 1926.
So
that was 23 years,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they had a nice stable bank.
Okay.
Until 1926
Oh,
when
man.
he passed, and he had been sick since February.
Mm.
So February to August is a few months. So
Yeah.
they kind of knew. They just didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
After the death of John Fisher, the board of directors for the bank were Berg, Gould, and the estate of John Fisher. So that was Etta Fisher, his wife, and his sons Hayden Fisher and Lyle Fisher.
Okay, I know that name, Lyle Fisher.
Yeah. John Fisher's will left everything to his wife.
Okay.
Okay, so that made her on the board. Okay, so that got me worried. That in and of itself, I'm thinking,
Well, and if he had the money, she's gonna have more say so
yes,
because he has more holdings or
right,
what-
right. And what happens if she doesn't want to be part of the bank?
People are screwed.
Yeah, exactly. So over the years, this is another fly in the ointment. This happened in 1926. So over the years 1920 to 27, the deflation of farm values across Iowa and Nebraska were about to cause a breaking point.
Oh no.
So all this land that they owned now isn't worth as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all that Confederate money people hoarded and buried, and then it was worth nothing, that sort of thing.
Wow.
So Gould, in 27, Gould thought that the prices of farmland had bottomed out, and
Okay.
it was going to be on the rise again.
Okay.
And so that would ease the strain on
Mm-hmm.
both the loan side and the
He was
farm
probably
loan.
sweating.
Yeah, both of them were sweating. But so it's 1927.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously
know
hindsight
what's
is
coming.
2020.
Yeah, we know
but
what's coming. Yeah.
Somebody knew what was coming. So the year was 1927, and the Depression was starting in Kewanee by then. And if you watched our live taping from the library, I talked about how you could see in the annual reports that trouble was brewing in Kewanee. So in September 16th, 1927, that's, we're taping this at September 6th, so right around this time. The State Savings Bank closed at 9 a.m. for purposes of reorganization. Dun, dun, dun.
That's like when you're a restaurant and the health department puts a red sticker on
Yeah,
the door.
that's right.
Sorry.
Exactly. So the newspaper
Sorry.
says the bank closed its door following a slow run of 10 days, in which about $200,000 in deposits were withdrawn. $200,000. So
Wait a minute. John Fisher dies. These people are going, I'm getting my money out of there.
exactly, yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit balls.
yeah. Sorry. So, so I was talking to John earlier about $200,000. So I was probably 40 when I finally figured out that when I go make a $300 deposit at my bank, that they don't take $300 and put it in a little box marked LeeAnn Ballou.
Yeah.
That it's
Your money mixes with all the other
yeah,
money.
and it's just on paper. You don't actually have. It's not like Harry Potter where he had that thing of gold.
Oh, yeah.
A ball of gold.
Wouldn't that be nice?
No.
No.
Your money's just gone. It's just written down that you have that much.
You put your money
So,
in, Rita and Louie get to take it
yeah,
out. And
but
then,
can you imagine all these people just coming in and I want my money.
want
It's
it now.
$5,000. Okay, here's your money. Well, if everybody comes in 1927 and wants $200,000, John and I figured that it was about like $3 million coming out of the bank in 10 days, cash.
holy cow.
Because a bank,
Do they hold that much
I
in a
don't
vault
know.
at
I
one
have
time?
no idea. And so John would not disclose. And
What
so,
if they were robbed? Sorry.
Well, I know.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I don't know if they would have $200,000.
I don't know.
And so I guess you would call, get some things sold, get some cash. I don't know. I don't know how they would try
Print
to
some more
recognize.
money. Sorry, just
Well,
kidding.
okay.
Oh no, I don't mean to make light. I mean this is
No, but-
this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And how do you show up to work and
Yeah,
here's
right.
here, Mr. Smith, here's your money. And
Yeah.
you know it's getting low in the safe.
Yes,
what are
right.
you going to do?
So they shut the door. Let's figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
So, the situation, the newspaper said, was caused by knowledge that an enormous amount of claims had been filed against the John Fisher estate. So people had
Okay.
wanted their monies and stuff
Okay.
like that. So Gould believed, and you know, this is all from like the newspapers and other things. I don't know how much he just talked out of his butt, you know, just to save face and that sort of thing. But Gould believed that the bank customers would be fine and not lose any money. He and Berg created another firm called the Midwest Farm Syndicate to liquidate farm loans, and were in the East selling bonds to greatly relieve the situation in Kewanee. And I'm thinking, oh, that's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Take their money.
I have another word for it, but yeah.
What?
I won't say.
Okay. And it was also a Ponzi scheme, but
That's what I was
Ponzi,
gonna- yeah,
Ponzi
yeah.
hadn't come about yet. So
So if you had your money in that bank, what would you have done? Had you heard things weren't going so well? John Fisher died.
I would have.
You would have been one of the first in line. Me too.
Yeah.
Where's my money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen here. Let's
Wow. Yeah.
let's get that out. But almost immediately there were meetings with the other banking establishments, and other Kewaneans came together, and the depositors
Okay.
of the bank. They met,
Okay.
saying, "What can we do?"
Okay.
And they wanted to keep the assets of the Kewanee Savings Bank out of receivership. So they didn't want it to go to the government to be doled out. They wanted to be able to keep it.
Okay.
Which,
Okay.
you know, if you think
Okay.
about it, if a bank is only created by assets of the owners,
Why do you want the government to have your money?
well, number one, but where do you get more money?
Yeah.
You need more people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
this was I don't know where I found this.
Somebody donated that, and I
Yes.
can't remember.
Yeah, and it's been laminated, but you know.
Look how big, wide the Star Courier used to be. It's just amazing.
The headline here is what's important. Heirs here may share $500 million trust.
What?
$500 million trust.
Was that Fisher's?
Yes, it was.
500 million?
Yeah, he had some money.
Million or thousand?
It says million,
It
John.
says million.
John's thinking, just so you viewers know what's going on, John thinks it says 500,000 because 500 million sounds
But this
ridiculous.
is also,
but
you
it's,
know,
but it's the headline of Star Courier. We weren't there, but
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
So the Fisher boys, the two Fisher sons that were part of the bank, issue a statement
Okay.
because, and this is October of 27. So
Dad
you know,
wasn't gone long.
no, and they say basically, they're saying we will give you this really, and this is what makes me think that they didn't really want the bank to have anything, because now they have to make a statement saying they're going to give it to them.
Oh.
So I don't
Cover
know.
themselves.
Yeah. So basically it says, we're going to give you all this stuff, including, and it says lots 10, 11, 12, blah, 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 of the addition to Edgewater subdivision in the city of Chicago, in the county of Cook, in the state of Illinois. So they're going to give that on only if these things happen. Number one.
Oh, there's conditions.
Yes, there's conditions. That their mother and no family members are going to be, you're not going to go after their stuff.
Okay.
Okay. 2 is that the public inspired citizens of Kewanee have been willing to contribute large sums in cash to the assets of such a reorganization of the bank. So as long as they can get the bank reorganized, and this is what I found interesting, if they will take the family home as an asset. And their family home was 506 South Chestnut Street, which is now the Ruck's Funeral Home.
Funeral Home.
So it was the Pierce
Beautiful.
Mansion, and then it was the Fisher House.
So it's like, okay, you got to take this. Why would they want to?
I think they wanted to get the heck out of Dodge, and they didn't want their name associated with these people.
Oh, let's just get out of here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So-
I mean, maybe this was like a little bit of a, like, okay, we're out of here. I also wondered, did they want to look like, their saving thing, like saving the
like helping
Kewanee,
save
helping,
Kewanee.
but the whole house, wow.
Yeah, I think they just said, "Here, take what you want. We want out of here."
We're out of here.
Yeah.
And you're not getting anything else from us.
Right, and you're not coming
And
after
property
us.
in Chicago, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. And so I found that interesting, and I do know from I was in touch with one of the descendants that Etta went and moved with Lyle Fisher to Chicago and lived out the rest of her life with him.
Okay.
So they were already
Okay.
gone. So
Wow.
yeah. So Fishers have effectively left the building.
Okay.
Okay. So Berg and Gould would not be part of this reorganization.
They didn't want to be.
Um,
Wait, they didn't want to be, or nobody wanted them in?
I don't think anybody wanted them in because in November of 27, the first suit was filed in the circuit court of Kewanee for the sum of $30,000 against Goldberg and Fisher, Etta Fisher, as the directors of the bank, charging negligence in handling of depositors' funds.
Okay, but so what you just read to me out of the newspaper is basically like, the bank couldn't come after them, but now this is a private citizen going after them. Okay, okay.
But there were many lawsuits, and I don't think I couldn't find any where Fishers were
Okay.
indicted.
Okay.
Now, whether they were or not, I don't know. I focused on Berg and Gould. So in March of 28, after 7 months of struggle of examining the affairs of the bankrupt bank and farm mortgages, and the farm mortgage firm came to a climax. Okay, so the bank's closed basically, and it's just like in a holding pattern while the state auditors come in and
Just this bank.
yes, just
Okay,
this bank, just
okay.
the savings bank here.
Okay.
So 32 indictments were brought against Berg and Gould. 23 were for receiving deposits while the bank was insolvent. So after they personally knew that they were bankrupt, they took in funds to try to shore up.
Rob Peter to pay Paul.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
4 for receiving money under false pretenses. 4 for conducting a confidence game. And 1 for embezzlement.
This is a big deal.
Yeah. Like,
And
huge.
I want to think like there was nothing malicious when it started. It just
That's
seemed
like-
like it grew into a big
Right.
big
Yeah. In the beginning, I kept thinking, I want to think the best of people, and I want them to be. They're just trying to fix it. They're just trying to fix it,
Right,
But
right.
unfortunately,
right.
they did do some things that were. I'm sure they were trying to fix it, but they weren't legal.
To me, I would be scrambling and just
So during this, when those indictments happened, Berg was apprehended at his home, and Gould was located in the office of Mayor James Andrews. So he was the mayor of Kewanee, but he was also a lawyer, and he was also a friend of Gould.
Okay.
And what I found interesting is James Andrews ended up purchasing Gould's house and living there on Prospect Street. So, I think they were friends. Anyway, whatever. I don't know if that means anything.
Wow.
Bonds were set at $66,000 per man.
Okay.
$2,000 each for 33 indictments. And because there was a problem with the proceedings concerning the grand jury, Berg and Gould were not held and the case was dismissed. So it was something about how they wrote letters to get the grand jury that they didn't do. So
it's almost like if you're a police officer and you arrest someone, but you don't Mirandize them, then
then they're off.
It's thrown out.
Yeah.
So it's a technicality.
Yes. Thank you. They were
Oh my
released on a
gosh.
technicality. So
Well, they probably don't want to stick around here.
No.
I mean, you're in the grocery store. Hey, buddy, where's my money?
Yeah, exactly. No, they
Sure.
did move away.
Wow.
The state's attorney in 28 now. We're in 1928. The state's attorney secured warrants for the two men based on the indictments from February. So they did it, yeah,
Okay.
and they did it correctly.
Okay.
Gould was found in Kewanee and transported to jail. Berg was not found. He was finally found at 11 p.m. at the Hotel Davenport in Davenport.
I wonder if he got a tip off that they were coming for him.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
He was
sorry.
registered as S.K. Johnson of Chicago, so he was under an assumed name.
Oh.
Now, in the paper it says, friends of Mr. Berg expressed the opinion that he is merely out upon a business trip and will not embarrass his bondsmen by an effort to avoid service upon warrants. He is still under bonds in connection with the further indictments returned by the June term. It is, however, suggested that the Kewaneean may attempt to avoid service on the warrants until he has completed arrangements for the bonds. So he's out trying to get people, he knows it's going to happen.
So his business is he's trying to get some
Money to get out of
together.
jail. Yeah.
Because his business is not happening.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my.
he was arrested, obviously.
They
and
must have had a tip. Wow.
Mr. and Mrs. Myron Jordan of Moline furnished $149,000 in real estate to pay the bonds of both men.
What?
Yeah.
There had to have been a personal connection.
Oh, yeah, and I did not look.
No, but you're not just going to give that kind of money.
Who had?
And then if they blow, you're out that money.
Who had $149,000 in real estate in 1928?
Not, yeah. Which we know, well, I
They
don't have
did.
a calculator in front of me,
Yeah,
but
it's a lot.
That'd be a lot now
Yeah.
if you could, Wow.
And there were many articles about all the indictments and some of the outcomes. And
How did you make sense of all this when you were
Oh
researching
my gosh,
it?
it's taking months.
So were you just like, I know you
There were many ledges to talk off of.
Yeah.
I got a crash course in banking that I didn't want.
And there were twists and turns.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And how far do I go down them?
Right.
And at what point do I stop?
Right.
So,
Wow.
so there was many indictments, many outcomes, and I welcome anybody to. We're going long today, people. I welcome anybody to come and talk to me about it. I might be able to help you, or look at my notes.
Very interesting.
So, following the court proceedings from 1934, so now it's been 7 years.
Okay.
Gould and family were living in Chicago, and where he was a finance manager. Who hired him? Oh my gosh.
Should they do a reference check?
Obviously not. Berg and family were in Milton, Illinois, in DuPage County, and Etta Fisher moved with her son Lyle's family to Glencoe. Gould, Berg, and Fishers had all put their homes in trust with the courts to pay creditors. And while there were a lot of different suits, criminal and civil, I wanted to talk about one of them, and it went all the way to the Illinois Supreme Court, and it was called the confidence game.
Oh.
Okay. And so I looked, I'm like, what the heck is the confidence game?
Confidence game.
The confidence game is an attempt to defraud a person or group by gaining their confidence. Duh. But it's usually adopted to obtain money, and the elements are intentional false representation to a victim as to some present facts. Number
Con
one.
man.
2, knowledge that the representation is false.
Mm-hmm.
Intention that the victim should rely on the representation.
Mm-hmm.
A flim-flam man. Anyway,
Con man.
Yeah. Representations being made to obtain a victim's confidence and therefore his or her money and property. So Richard Nassif of Kewanee, he had a fruit stand on 225 North Tremont. He purchased some mortgage notes from the bank in 1923. Okay. In
1923. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a little bit before.
Okay.
In 1926, he went to the bank to collect on the notes.
Okay.
Okay, to understand, I didn't understand how this worked, so my husband explained it to me. And also Chip Eastman. Thank you, Chip Eastman at People's National Bank. To understand how this worked, a person goes to a bank to get a mortgage on their land. Okay, you go to a bank, get a mortgage on your house.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it was a $9,000 mortgage. The bank can sell the mortgage or mortgage note to someone else for $9,000, which banks sometimes do that. You start paying one bank, and then all of a sudden you get a thing in the mail that says so and so bought the loan. So, and the new buyer makes interest off this mortgage minus fees for the bank handling the transaction, of course, and can collect the principal at the end of the note term.
Okay.
So he got $9,000. He paid $9,000.
Okay.
So the bank has $9,000.
Okay.
And he's going to make interest on it, and then he's going to go back and get the $9,000 at the end of the term.
Okay.
So he does that, and they're like, wait. Are you sure you want to do this?
He's like, yeah, give me my money.
Gould asked what he was going to do with his money. Mr. Nassif said he was going to buy the Benison Flats on Chestnut Street, which is still a apartment building at 403 South Chestnut, the corner of Chestnut and Oak on the west side.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I always thought that building was cool.
Yeah, it is. It is very, and
man.
it's really, I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah.
And it's called the Benison Flats. Gould said,
I did not know that.
yeah.
Benison Flats.
Benison Flats.
Okay.
Gould told him he was foolish to buy real estate when your farm loans get you 6% every year and we have paid you the interest. After some bargaining, Berg counted out $9,000 worth of new notes, and Nassif gave him back the $9,000 he had from the original loan. So they talked him into buying more mortgages instead of taking his money and going and buying these apartments.
Oh my gosh.
It was also questioned in the court whether Nassif, as an immigrant, could read and write English, which he responded not very well to both.
Oh my, he might have been a little intimidated too. Maybe, I mean, I don't
know, and he may not have understood
like the
ramifications and stuff
yeah.
like that. So, and from what I understand, the notes weren't real.
What?
Berg and Gould had signatures from a farmer, okay? But no money changed hands. So, and the farmer was in the paper talking
Okay,
about
up
this.
Until you're telling me this, I was feeling sorry for Berg and Gould. But
I know.
Now
I know,
now
right?
This part, no.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, in the paper, it said that Berg or Gould, one of them, went to this guy who was renting farmland from him and said, "Hey, sign this." And he's like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's part of the loan agreement for some land." And he's like, "Okay," so he signs it.
I'm picturing this guy rolls up in a wagon or whatever. The guy's out farming. This guy's got a suit. Hey, sign this.
Yeah.
It's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like what?
Right. And it's like they made up these mortgages just to sell to someone. So, so in 1934, Berg and Gould were convicted of the confidence game and sentenced to 1 to 10 years in Illinois State Penitentiary. They immediately filed a stay of mititus, which meant that they could stay out of jail while they appealed to the Illinois Supreme Court, which was allowed after even after they had to go find that guy from Davenport
under an alias.
Yeah, that meant
S.
they were
Johnson.
S.K. Johnson, a family company, anyway.
Oh,
I don't think that's what
no,
it
it's
was.
S.J.
Oh,
S.C.
okay.
Johnson.
It's S.C. Johnson. Okay.
Yeah.
Were allowed to remain at liberty on their previous bonds on that
That is
$149,000.
crazy.
So in April of 1936, 9 years after the closure of the bank. So this has been 1936. So the country is in the Great Depression, right?
Yeah.
The Illinois Supreme Court reverses the conviction of Berg and Gould on charges of obtaining property of Richard Nassif by a confidence game. They said there was no evidence of a confidence game. If there was a crime, it was obtaining money or property by false pretenses, and the crimes are separate and distinct.
So this poor Nassif guy was out his $9,000.
Yeah.
I mean,
and one guy said that no, the Justice Norman Jones dissent. It was held that Nassif had, he told why, but it was held that if Nassif had confidence in the defendants, it arose from the long course of honest business dealings between them over a period of 20 years. So Nassif had worked with these guys for 20 years, so it wasn't a confidence game, and there was no testimony to indicate such a confidence game was inspired by anything which was said or done in connection with the trade of his old notes for new
I'm
ones.
reversing the reversal.
Well, I don't think you have the authority. But
I know I don't, but that's just, wow.
So they reversed this. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. They were convicted of receiving deposits while the bank was insolvent and on forgery counts. The Supreme Court erased all the convictions carrying prison sentences. So they did not have to go to jail for anything. They had to pay fines and stuff like that, but they didn't have to go to jail. So with this last reversal of conviction of the confidence game, the state's attorney was forced to use the original indictments made against Berg and Gould, and unfortunately none of them were under false representations.
I'm going back to okay, you've known these guys for 20 years, you've dealt with them, but they pulled this number on you that you didn't know this was...
Right. Well, they did it. They knew.
I know. I'm stuck on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they couldn't prove that Nassif
Right.
didn't trust them enough.
No, I understand that, but he was swindled, but yeah.
Yes, yeah, everybody knows that. But the findings do not permit remanding back to the circuit court. So any further prosecution would have to have been made through some indictments not previously used. So they were not allowed to do the confidence game because
none of
that is not the charge that was.
They would have had to bring no.
Yeah, they would have to start all over again.
Yep.
So basically, this is the end of the court proceedings. The county had continually talked in the articles about how much this case was costing, and the U.S. was still in the Great Depression. So, two bankers went on to lead lives in Illinois. William Gould lived in Chicago, did real estate loans. Passing in 1958, he's buried in Cook County. Samuel lived in Milton, Illinois, and Glen Ellen, where he passed in 1975. He is buried in Pleasant View Cemetery here in Kewanee.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes. And he is buried with the Butterwicks.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
Because they have a big old monument out there.
Yeah.
And you may be asking, I'm sorry this is going long. You may be asking, what happened to the other depositors? What happened to all those people that had money in the savings bank?
Yeah.
Did they lose everything? It was mentioned that almost immediately when the bank closed, Kewaneeans and other Kewanee banks met to try to alleviate the problems.
I love that the other banks came together to try to help the
and
citizens.
Lots of different people, Waller, Lay, B.F. Baker.
Nice. Good old B.F. Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the banks. So they came together, and stock was sold, waivers were required, and soon the state auditor granted a permit to organize the People's State Savings Bank of Kewanee. They kept the old bank. This kept the old bank and whatever assets it still had out of receivership.
Okay.
So.
Wow. People's State Savings Bank.
Yes. So, I know the name of the bank sounds familiar because it's now People's National Bank of Kewanee, and it'll be celebrating its 100th anniversary in 1928.
Nice. I love that it says People's, and maybe that helped people have confidence. I hate to use that word after the story you just told me, but that they could trust it's People's.
That's actually the when they started the People's State Savings Bank, they put out this ad saying why you can trust them. Because now, confidence is very low.
I'm going to put my money in a mattress somewhere.
Yeah. And so there's a picture of the first.
Oh.
I didn't print out a big one out. Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did. Oh, wow.
So this is the first board of directors.
Look at all the flowers. It must have been a congratulatory thing.
Yes, and that is the inside of the white bank.
Oh, neat.
That's the only picture I've ever seen of the inside of the white bank.
How cool.
So, seated are James H. Andrews, Vice President, Joseph N. Gamble, Vice President, Charles D. Terry, President, Samuel J. Cox, Vice President. Standing is board members Frank M. Lay, Henry J. Zhang, Charles F. Whiffen. I swear the Whiffens are in everything.
Whiffen.
Peter Waller, and Charles Eastman. Charles S. Eastman, cashier.
Oh, probably related to Chip.
That's his grandpa.
Oh, neato.
So I thought
And
that
we know
was
the Zhang name too.
Yes, right. Well, we know lots of those names.
Yes,
James
we sure
Andrews
do.
was the lawyer who.
Actually, the only one I'm not familiar with is Cox. The other one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just the surface of all the doings of Bergen Gould and all their shenanigans. And I went down too many rabbit holes. Couldn't figure
I know
out where
she
to
was.
stop.
We were in the museum together different times, you guys, and she would just be like exclaiming out loud to herself, or just, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
And, she's done a great job with her notes here, but I knew it was going to be a very interesting.
Yeah, and like you said, this is the only one that happened in Kewanee, and banking is now obviously much more stable.
Yeah,
the FDIC is involved, and the crashes like this are unlikely.
Yeah,
and I wrote down no money in mattresses.
Oh,
people.
After I just said it.
I do want to thank a couple people. Nico Fisher, who gave me information on the Fisher family. Chip Eastman at Peoples. And I asked him if he had any notes from his grandpa or anything about this whole business. And he says, no, I think they just called him up and said, hey, you want to work for a bank?
Okay.
And he had info and explained how banks worked in this time frame to me, which it was very hard for me to grasp. Rachel Price at PNB for the photo of the first board, and Rob, John, and MaryAnn for talking me off a lot of ledges.
Yeah.
And explaining a lot of things to me, because goodness,
I didn't know any of this story.
Yeah,
Any of it. I just knew they lived next to each other because I was doing research in the neighborhood for somebody.
Yeah.
Just about who owned what back when.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
I went into it, thinking, oh, I feel so sorry for these guys. They're just trying to get people's money to give them back, and no,
you kept thinking, I don't want them to be criminals. I don't want them to be criminals.
Yeah, they even made up some names. There was a Tomlinson name that didn't exist that they made mortgage notes for and then sold them.
Oh man!
So yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you told us about this.
Yes.
My goodness! And now we know the FDIC exists.
Yes,
and that's helpful.
Yes. So. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in for this extra long-winded Bergen Gould bank failure.
I think it was very interesting, very, very well prepared. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a labor of love.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, until next time, I'm not sure what our next podcast will be about, so I can't give you a teaser. But we are in the works. So,
yes. Yeah.
As always, see you next time at the museum.
See you at the museum.
Bye.
Thanks for cruising with us today. We hope you enjoyed the show, and you'll join us for our next cruise down Kewanee Memory Lane.